Everybody in this world has an opinion. Everybody in this world has something to say no matter what you do. So you might as well do something that makes you happy, and even though you're not there right now, you're going to get there one day. Hi, my name is Aras. I'm 27 years old. I'm a music artist. I'm also a mixing and mastering engineer on the side. So it's hard to kind of pinpoint where I grew up because I was moving a lot as a child. I grew up in a single parent household for the majority of my childhood. I had a hard time struggling as a child with having to move so much because, it's a lot harder to kind of create an impactful environment for yourself when you're constantly battling like the fears of how long am I gonna be here? Am I gonna have to move and start at a new school again and make new friends all over again? Like what is this gonna look like for me? So growing up, it really was a struggle for me. It was hard for me to kind of be in a position where I found myself because I was always constantly trying to make friends and fit in with the crowds of all the people that I was meeting growing up. Leaving high school, finally getting out of that, social life of the popular kids and all this other stuff, I didn't know who I was. At a certain point, I did try to unalive myself. It didn't work. And at that point, my mom was taking me to therapists, different places to try to figure out where the source of all this was coming from. And it was really just because I didn't know who I was, and I was so depressed because of it that it just kind of closed me off from everything. And then the therapist, recommended hey, why don't you try making music or making beats, something to just get your mind off. It was things he suggested working out and hobbies, finding a hobby that could kind of get my mind off of, being in such a sad position in my life. And it ended up turning into my mom buying me a little MIDI keyboard, a little mini beat making keyboard with pads, things like that. And she bought me FL Studios, the generic edition of it. And from there, I was just this is the coolest, most fun thing I've ever done in my entire life. And all those feelings from when I was in high school making music came back. And it came back 10 times stronger. And I was I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where my life's going, but I know that this is now what I want my whole life to be revolved around. The real music, the real emotional music that can connect with people is the music that you are the most vulnerable, you're the most honest, you're the most yourself in. And for a long time, me being gay wasn't very present in my music because at the time I still wasn't out of the closet. And it was hard for me because I couldn't really express who I truly was for the longest time. I wanted to, I obviously wanted to kind of portray my real thoughts, my real life, but that wasn't in the cards for me. But I'd say now I am very much truly myself. I'm very much who I am. I've kind of got over that obstacle. And that's a whole nother battle in itself. People coming out, take your time, do it at your own pace. There's really no timeline of when you should, but I just knew me as Aras Moon, if I was going to be Aras Moon, I needed to fully accept who I was and show the world who I was and find the ones that were like-minded and find the ones that would accept me for who I am instead of trying to look for the ones that could accept me for a version of myself that I portrayed in my music. I wanted to become someone that can help others not feel like how I felt. I wanted to create a safe space where people can escape, put headphones on and just listen to my songs and feel something, you know, not feel so numb, not feel so alone, you know, like someone else has been in this position you're in. You're not alone. You are important. I wanted to create something that stuck with people and help them kind of get to a point in their life where they were happy again. You know, they felt emotions, you know, they weren't numb, they weren't alone. So that's kind of what drove me to really pursue it. And to this day, it's still something that's at the core of me as a music artist. My words of advice would be to find yourself, find who you truly are, and hold on to that with all of your strength and all of your might and all of your core. Figure out who you are and what you want to be. You are the main character of your life. Every decision that you make should be 100% your decision without any type of fog from other people. Don't get discouraged if somebody telling you no, especially when it's something that you know you want to pursue, because that no can always turn into a yes later. I'm Aras Moon. You can find me on all social platforms. Most of them is under Aras Moon Live. I would say Spotify, Instagram, or Spotify, Apple Music. All of those is just Aras, A-R-A-S, space Moon, M-O-O-N. I'm everywhere, even Napster, even MySpace. Look me up. Let me know what you think about my music.